What's up, guys, and welcome back to Math with McKay. All right, guys, we are in our student workbook, lesson 16 on page 171. Now, lesson 16 is talking about going from ratios to rates, right? This past week or so, we've been talking about unit rates and how to find it and the difference between a unit rate and a rate, all right? So the unit rate means one. How much does one of these things cost? How much does one of these things count for, okay? Your rate is what's actually being compared. So if we look at this right here, right? So it says rates, a ratio that compares quantities. Your quantities is what's actually being compared. Are we talking about ounces and money? Are we talking about minutes and miles? Are we talking about hours and miles, okay? You kind of relate to this when you go to the store and you're trying to figure out what's the better buy. If I buy these bananas from Walmart, is it going to be cheaper from me buying these bananas from Food Lion, all right? That's what we're talking about here. Now, the unit rate is you're taking your rate, which is what was being compared, and creating a denominator of one. Whatever you are looking for one of. So I can be looking for 1 mile. I can be looking for 1 minute. I can be looking for 1 book. Whatever it is, they're going to use the word per or each. Those things are indicators for the unit rate, okay? So if we look at the example 1 on page 171, so it says Diet Cola was on sale last week. It cost $10 for every 4 packs of Diet Cola. Now the first question says, how much does 2 packs of Diet Cola cost? Then the next question says, how much does 1 pack of Diet Cola cost? So for the first example, instead of us going for 1 pack, we're looking for 2 packs. So whatever you're looking for, whatever the question is asking you about, that has to be your denominator. In this case, our question is asking for packs. We start off with the original rate of $10 for 4 packs, right? So we would write the ratio out. $10 for 4 packs. Now we're trying to create an equivalent ratio, but this ratio now has a denominator of 2 because the question asks for how much for 2 packs. So we're going to draw our arrow, which is the same thing as our equal sign, okay? And then we're going to create a new ratio that now has a denominator of 2. And you write the words out so that it can help you, right? So we have packs down at the bottom in our denominator here. So that means in our new ratio, we're also going to have the word packs, okay? So now your question to yourself is, if I start off with 4 packs, what do I do to 4 in order to get 2 packs, right? So we're trying to figure out what did we divide 4 by in order to get 2. So what times itself or what times each other is going to give us 4? 4 divided by what gives you 2? 4 divided by 2. So if I divide my denominator by 2 in order to get 2, I must also do the same thing to my numerator in order to get that number. So we're going to divide our numerator by 2. So we say, what is 10 divided by 2? 2 times what gives you 10? So our new answer would be, but this is not your unit rate because it doesn't have a denominator for our final answer of 1. We did not find the simplest form based on what they're asking for, right? So they just asked us for 2 packs. Yes, this is simplified because there is no other number that will go into 5 and 2 other than the number 1. But for unit rate, we're talking about how much does one of these items cost, right? So 2 packs cost $5, not 5 packs. 2 packs cost $5. Now, the next question asked us to figure out how much does 1 pack cost, all right? So you would set it up the same way. You would say the original rate that they gave you was $10 for 4 packs. Now we need to create an equivalent ratio, but this new ratio is going to have a denominator of 1 now, okay? So now we're going to create it to where instead of it being 2 packs here, we're going to put 1 pack, okay? And then we're going to do the same concept. Figure out what did I do to 4 in order to get 1? And then the same thing that I do to 4 in order to get 1, I must do to 10 in order to get the numerator. So how do we go from 4 packs to only focusing on 1, right? So that's like if you have $4, how can everybody get 1, right? So you would be dividing. So we say 10 divided by 4. Now 4 doesn't evenly go into 10. So now we actually have to set up the long division, right? So we had put the numerator in the house, and you can add a decimal point and some zeros. It still represents the same thing. Zeros don't really mean much of anything unless you're actually getting the money in your hand. In this case, 10 without the zeros is still the same thing as $10 with the zeros. Then we're going to put the 4 on the outside, and we're going to go 1 digit at a time. We're going to say, can 4 go into 1? No, it does not. So we're going to put a 0 at the top. Then we're going to multiply 4 times 0. When we multiply, the answer goes underneath the house. So 4 times 0 is 0. So then we're going to subtract. We say 1 minus 0 is 1. Then we're going to bring down the next 0 right directly next to our answer that we just got. So we're going to say, well, how many times can 4 go into 10? All right, 4 goes into 10 without going over 2 times. So we're going to put the answer. How many times will go at the top. Then we're going to do the multiplication. We're going to say 4 times 2, which is 8. 10 minus 8, 2. I'm going to bring a 0 down. I'm going to add a decimal point in my answer. All right. So then we say, well, how many times can 4 go into 20? 4 goes into 20 5 times. 4 times 5 is 20. So then we bring down a 0. And we say, how many times will 4 go into 0? 4 will go into 0. 0 times 4 times 0 is 0. So then we subtract. And our final answer would be $2.50 for 1 pack. All right? Now we're going to give you guys an opportunity to go ahead and practice some questions on your own. Remember, what is the question asking you to find one of? All right, don't just look at the question and say, well, this is the order that they gave it to me, so I'm going to put it in this order. No, figure out what follows the word per. So it's going to say per, and then something else is going to come behind it. Whatever comes behind the word per, that means that's going to be in your denominator. Remember, the word per means 1. All right,